Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you all for attending today, especially all participants that are coming from different sides of the world. And our session today is really interesting. We'll be talking with Firas Mghames, the managing director of FEER McQuEEN, and we'll be discovering more about the e-commerce in time of COVID. But before we start, I would like to really emphasize on some housekeeping. And just please mute your microphone at all time. And sorry for that. Please mute your microphone at all time. You can ask related questions in the chat. You can raise your hand in the Q&A section for live questions. We will have one poll today just to get the feel about the e-commerce status that you are in. A feedback survey will be shared, and this session is recorded and will be streamed on YouTube Live. My name is Rudy Shushani. I'm a digital transformation specialist. This is another series of digital transformation. Today's topic again is e-commerce. And first, please don't forget to join us at our WhatsApp group. I will be sharing it throughout the session. The more you are on WhatsApp or on our social medias, the more we can communicate better, and you'll be notified accordingly. All right. So I would like to welcome Firas Mghames, the Managing Director of FEER McQuEEN and CEO of FlagM. Firas, I think today you are in Saudi Arabia, and I forgot the name of the city. So you're going to manage this. Just let me stop sharing and we'll start.
Okay.
Please introduce yourself and introduce FEER McQuEEN.
All right. Hi, Rudy. Hello, everyone. A lot of familiar faces. Actually, I'm in Riyadh. So if you heard of it, it's a huge city.
Now you told me another word.
No, you asked me about the building behind me. It's the Sulaimaniya Tower. So
okay.
That's not the city. So anyways, hello, I'm pleased to be here with you. And I really like the logo behind you. I know that FEER McQuEEN did it. So yeah, we can be a bit, we can take pride of it. And thank you for
we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay. So a quick brief about myself. I founded FEER McQuEEN, which is a hybrid creative agency, in 2011. And we started as a traditional agency, mainly focusing on branding and other marketing activities. And we were lucky enough to ride the first wave of digital marketing with the first wave of social media back in 2012. And quickly we adopted this new culture of how to deal with brands, how to deal with commerce at the very, very early stage, or what we call now e-commerce. And with it, we expanded to be a hybrid agency. And what we mean by hybrid agency, which is a one-stop shop for marketing activities, starting from creation of the brand, to the brand structure, the tone of voice, eventually to the communication strategy, the campaigning, the ads, all that, to handling the social media, creating the relationship between us and our customers, channels, newsletters, everything that we know today as a digital marketing, and going to it horizontally to the production arm, where we create the content, videography, the pictures, 3D animations, 2D animations, and eventually stepping into technology, where we create apps, web apps, and everything related to that. And the thing that's the subject of our topic about e-commerce, around 2 years ago, or even 3 years ago, we opened our newest department, which is what we call today growth marketing. which is these are the guys that create what all the activities around e-commerce, and we do that for our clients, from setting up the shop, the platform, creating the strategy behind it, all the user journey, and everything related to that. So this is very quickly about FEER McQuEEN, and along for the last 10 years, we were lucky enough to witness a lot of businesses and brands migrating from the offline marketing and their offline activities to digital marketing, and eventually, due to COVID today, the e-com wave has been accelerated very quickly, and this is a big part of what we do today. Or all our teams and the services, they go into this direction in all the different disciplines that we cater to our clients. So this is quickly about us, and I'm curious to know, Rudy, about how do you want to take the direction of this
Let's talk. First, before we proceed, I wanna thank you for your hard work on the identity of DxTalks. I know we've been there working for the last couple of months on the identity, and actually we released our identity last week. And today, I just want, because there's many new people, just wanna see that kind of our identity is finalized, and then hopefully with this, it will be launched throughout our platforms and social media. I want to thank you again for all the efforts. I want to thank the team because I know there's some of them here. But I want to emphasize about the new identity that we have done. And in brief, if you just want to highlight what was the changes that we've done and where the new identity fits our talk today, or our series.
Okay, you're gonna embarrass me because I'm not prepared for that.
I have to thank you, can't I?
Yeah. Thank you. But as you know, I wasn't involved much in the project, so I'm not behind on the rationale. So let's skip this question.
No problem.
Until
no problem.
If you want,
no
next
problem.
time I will.
Right.
All right. For it.
No, it's okay.
Launch it prematurely before it's time. So,
yeah, because we're eager to start a new year with a new identity.
Yeah,
we have to produce.
That's
anyway,
another way to say we're late.
No, we're good.
Okay.
I just want to jump to the first part, which is how can we take e-commerce today? There's many of us here, and with that, let me launch a poll and to better understand the audience. Okay, so I'm sure you've seen the poll. Please answer it for the next minute or so. And let me ask the first question. Today, there's a run and there's a rush on going to digital. There's a rush going to digital transformation. There's a rush to go into e-commerce. Many companies have tried, many companies have failed, many companies have succeeded. What's the best way and what approach as a strategy, as a high-level strategy first, before we dive in more? What's the first step or strategy they should think about before jumping onto the e-commerce or the digital transformation wave?
All right. First, let me start with an introduction about e-commerce and saying that e-commerce, it's not that different than the traditional commerce or what we used to know. So if we want to observe our real life in a way or in another way, which is eventually you have a small market, a small mini market. They are part of the trading and the commerce chain. We have the big supermarkets, the mega stores, we have the Carrefour, we have all these, regardless which industry, whether they were the retailers or all that. There's a lot of different scales of e-commerce and of commerce. And if you want to project it to the digital world, it's what's happening exactly the same. So e-commerce, it doesn't have to be always a big giant like Amazon in order for it to be into the e-commerce world. So a girl doing some jewelries, handmade jewelries, she's part of e-commerce. Usually, if you want to take in Lebanon, we used to see her in Byblos, in a small shop, putting a stand on the corner and all that. Today, she has Instagram. So she used to do e-commerce in a way or another. To now, she's doing it in a different way, using different tools, but eventually, it's kind of the same thinking. Same for the giants, and applies the same rules applies on the giants. So what I'm trying to say is the following. Following this discussion or today's discussion, there's a lot of there is no one mold to put all e-commerce into. Same like there's no one mold where we can fit all the business in our offline commerce, where we can fit it fit it in. So this is what I'm trying to say. So for the sake of this presentation or our talk today, I'll be talking about medium to or the e-commerce that they start small and eventually they are able or they're building their platform in order to go big. Because the ones that they're doing e-commerce through Instagram, whatever I'm gonna say, that doesn't apply. So how to start? The first thing is to tackle the commerce part, which is the product part. And this is what we've seen for the last year and for the last 2-3 years. A lot of clients, when they come to us, they don't have the readiness when it comes to their product and their offering. So, and today the good news that a lot of industries or most of the industries, we can see them, they are succeeding on e-commerce. If I want to take a few steps back, a few years ago, there's some certain rules, or we always said to our clients, there's some criteria that you need to check before succeeding on e-commerce. One of them, you need to have a very unique product. The second one, you need to have extremely hot deals. You need to have very competitive prices, etc. Because else, why should people buy from your platform? 3, people will buy from you if it was something artisanal, handcrafted, all this. And 4, eventually, if they don't have access to it in their city or wherever they're living. So today, these 4 criteria, they don't exist anymore. I don't need to check one of them in order to succeed on e-commerce. And this is what COVID accelerated to the biggest extent. But however, it doesn't mean that anything that I'm gonna do on the platform is gonna work. It doesn't have to be. I don't assume that if I open a Shopify account or an account on e-commerce, I'm gonna succeed. Eventually, I need to go back to the basics of the business and think about my business before getting into e-commerce. And here, we always suggest or we always emphasize on the pricing strategy, what are the products, the acceptance, the user acceptance of my e-commerce before even to launch it. So how do we do all this? There is a buzzword now today, which is, we always use it, all the agencies use it, which is a discovery phase. A discovery phase, where we study all these criteria, we study the business, we see the users, we do the testimonials with the users, we do the testimonials with all the stakeholders, if this product or this business will succeed on e-commerce. In reality, regardless of the buzzword of it, where we call it today discovery, it's not anything different than a business plan or a feasibility plan. It's just a different word, but eventually the essence is the same. So what we advise is to start, it's always go back to the business and let's study the business itself, see how much there is a readiness into our processes, the business processes, about the product. Are we late? Are we not late? If there's any acceptance, if there's any need, our pricing strategy, etc., etc., etc. So this is where we start doing it. Eventually, if you want to be more tangible, we always start with workshops. We always start with the interviews, gathering data, insights. This what we usually say the market research. And from it, we can say, or we can know, or we can define our go-to-market strategy. And from it, we can say, okay, so now we can know we have a good product, we have a good pricing strategy, we have good positioning, we have all that. There is a user acceptance for whatever we're gonna do it, okay? And we've tested this before even launching. Then we start going into the user mapping, the user experience, eventually building the platform, which platform, etc., creating the CRM, etc., etc. So very common mistake, which we always see the clients going to the technology companies because they want a platform before doing anything. The technology companies, they're excellent at what they do, which is building a technology or adapting a technology or taking modules and put them together or whatever it is. But they will not solve the business dilemma. So they need to think about the business. And then what we advise, because we're usually the digital agencies, they've been into the digital marketing for the last 10 years. They know how to, or a lot of them, they know how to deal with e-commerce, which linking the business thinking with the technology thinking of the other companies. So don't jump directly to choosing which platform you want. Don't jump directly into, if I go into this CRM, I'm gonna succeed. So if I can do this, I'm gonna succeed. For me, these are all tools. I don't care about the tools as much as I care about the product itself, the commerce part, the acceptance, and then building a very smooth user experience, a very good branding when it comes to UI, which continues the user experience, and eventually I can go and adopt which platform I want to use. So this is very quickly about the first steps, and I hope I answered your question, Rudy. If you want me.
Yes, you did. You did excellently. And why was the question? Because I know many people fall in I won't call it a trap, but fall in a kind of a problem, or they want to rush things, and now they are online, but things in the back end, they're not ready. Their processes are not ready. The way they do things are not ready. Their leadership, their skills are not ready. There's a lot of things that are not ready, but they just want to sell because of we understand there's a speed and necessity, but it can come also fast. The transformation can come fast, but it has to come in a more organized way. I just shared the contacts of Firas and myself, so please follow and the website of FEER McQUEEN. I just want to go and I want to share the results of the poll. We have 52% of our attendees that are looking into building their own e-commerce. So actually, this is a very good audience today to learn and to get the lessons, get the secrets, possibly get the tricks that you guys have passed in the last years doing this, and many successful companies have been transformed and went online due to your work and due to the even not just online, having a brand, being there, having success wherever they can go, because I know it's beyond online or e-commerce. So
here, Rudy, I just want to to mention one thing. There's a big differentiation between what we call the digital products and the e-commerce platforms. Even though both of them are actually e-commerce, you're doing commerce digitally, but the digital products like Uber, like Talabat, like all these they have different cases. It's a different case. They have different rules, and it's very tricky. And when it comes to e-commerce, here we're talking about Amazon, Sold.com, and all the rest of these guys. And here, why I'm mentioning this, because the thinking is very different. Even though always we need to start from the discovery, the thinking, the testing the idea, if there's any acceptance for it, do they need it, is a fear raison d'etre, whatever we're gonna create. But eventually, when it comes to the technology, there's a different approach. And I will tell you from our experience, I'm gonna tell you my point of view, maybe a lot of here in the room, they won't agree with me. But eventually, if I'm talking about the e-commerce, which are the platforms where I'm selling a service or I'm selling a product, for me, there's my advice always to our clients is don't waste your time into creating a platform from scratch. Don't even think about it. Don't put any thinking into it or compare. Why do you need to reinvent the wheel when there's already ready-made platforms? They can do everything. And the least or the thing that we always avoid, which is going into any kind of customization. So already in the platform, which are the big platform like Shopify, like WooCommerce, or even Magento or BigCommerce and all these, they almost have all the modules in the world. And if in all these modules I can't find what I need, I would say most probably you don't need it, because they already thought about everything. So the more you go into the trap, which is of the technology, you're gonna get lost. Your business is to do commerce. That's what you do. That's what you know how to do it. You know, if you are, let's say, a supermarket, if you are a retailer into fashion and all this, focus on your craft, focus on the business itself, which is the trading, the product, the pricing, the brands, the aggregators, all that, and don't focus on the technology. That's not your thing, and there is no need for you to go into this trap. We've seen a lot of companies where they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on the platform, and eventually they go into a loop and they get out of it, while they've lost a very precious time, a go-to-market time where they could be selling online, they could be learning, they could be enhancing their processes and all that. But if I'm going into a digital product, that's a different thing. That's totally different thing. So that's more challenging, because eventually my product is the technology itself, it's the app itself, and it's the services that I'm selling on this app. So for the sake of this call, unless if anyone would like to talk about the digital products, we're talking about the e-commerce. And my first step would be, and this is what we always tell our clients, don't go into creating your platform from scratch. That's a huge waste of time and energy. Most probably you will not get anywhere, and try to avoid as much as possible the customization. The product, your platform is not an asset. It will never be. The URL is your asset. Maybe your Instagram page is your asset. Your ad is your asset. Your being recognized is your asset. But the platform itself, it's not your asset. You might replace it. You can find, we've seen a lot of international platforms that in one day or a night, you go in and you see a different platform. They just ditch it. So they don't go there for the platform itself. They go for the product, the brand, they like it, etc., etc. So that would be my first advice.
Yeah, I know I've discussed this with you before on different occasions about building versus going and taking whatever is available, which has a lot of profits and a lot of ready-made, and cost-wise is much more convenient for everybody, because sometimes even we go into development of brand new offering, but in the end we don't know how to manage it. It's too complex. It will take years possibly to produce, and the whole project goes on another way. So this is possibly one of the quickest win you can get to go on e-commerce.
Yeah,
great.
It's like imagine Zara. They want to open a retail store, so they build their own mall, their own roads, they got their own generator and all that in order for them to open the store. So for me, that's a waste of time. So go to something that's ready, that's tested, that's reliable, and let your developers, your designers to use it, to work on it and to build on it. And this is the same thing when it comes to CRM or ERP. Very few companies, they build their own ERP or CRM. Why do you need to do that? Unless if there's a special case. So again, I'm just talking about the most common cases, definitely.
Yes, definitely. There's some cases that development is needed. It's a different case. All right. So we're talking here about tips and winning moves, if you want to call them. Sometimes we have challenges. All right. But before I ask actually the question, I just want to say to our YouTube viewers, please post your questions on YouTube. We can pick them up, and on Facebook also. So if you have any question, and to our local audience here in on Zoom, please, if you have any question, either raise your hand or have it in the chat. We'd like this to be interactive as much as we can. I know I'm just browsing who we have here. We have lawmaker, we have software developers, we have companies in the digital technologies. We have people from Mexico. We have people from Dubai. We have a lot of, and I see a lot of friends here. I just want to see if okay, she didn't come. Yeah. So let me go back to my question now. Again, I put down in the chat the WhatsApp group. That's an invite. So just plug it in, and then you join our WhatsApp group. So to go back, after the winning moves, and what are the challenges that companies are facing today? Not just in Lebanon. We can start in Lebanon, but also I know you have. You start officially today. I will say it, and then you will continue on it. That officially today we can say that FEER McQUEEN is operating in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and a couple of months back you opened also in Cyprus, and we'll get back to that. But first, tell us the challenges locally, and then tell us about those things.
Yeah, you mean the challenges for the e-commerce? Well,
yes.
Since we started talking about the traps, the second trap that comes to my mind, which is at the early phases, and when I say early phases, I mean for at least 2-3 years, don't fall into the trap of the logistics and the operation. That's very challenging, and already, which is already you have a lot of very good logistics here in the region. All of them they've been preparing themselves, and today they have the readiness to cater for a lot of e-commerce businesses. You have from the big internationals like DHL and others. You have the regional like Aramex and others. You have Net, you have local ones like Wakilni. You have a lot of people that are doing an excellent job, and this is the biggest challenge. That was definitely the biggest challenge, or these were the champions during last year's COVID take but regardless of the pandemic, regardless of everything, don't go into this. Maybe they're gonna take a cut from your profit. Maybe they're gonna take the numbers. They won't make sense at first, but eventually, if you go into the operation, you're gonna invest a lot into something that you haven't tested yet. So maybe let me take an example. If you're starting your e-commerce in Beirut, and eventually, if you're thinking from day one to, okay, let me have my warehouse, let me go into my stock management system, let me update my ERP to fit e-commerce, let me get my own drivers so I can go into the routing, the pick and packing, I need to change my procedures and all that. Yes, maybe this is how it should be, but definitely this will take you a lot of time and a lot of energy. And definitely you will be learning along the way. But the difference here, which is you will be learning in your clients and you'll be harming your your reputation along the way. So it's not like, for example, marketing where and you will be learning how to market your product, how do you market your e-com along the way. Because if you did a bad marketing strategy, there is no harm. If you did a wrong targeting, there is no harm. What the harm is on you. You're losing your money. You're losing your time, which is in a way or another contained. But when it comes to logistics, you're gonna get a bad reputation. The clients won't. And they're gonna talk about you, about you're late. I got my product, they're smashed and all that. So, however, what you need to focus on, it's always I go back to the basics, which is the business itself. And what is the business of e-commerce? Eventually, after you set up the initial phase, which is the discovery, the product, the commerce part, the strategy, the vendors, all this. After it, you're gonna see that almost all your work will be in marketing. Almost all your work and all your concerns will be how can I get more traffic into my website? How can I have more? How can I elevate my basket? What we call AOV. How can I elevate the lifetime value of my customers? If I'm getting 10,000 customers per day, how can I make them 20,000? How can I make them 100,000, etc.? This is the core of your business. So after the first phase where you're setting up the business, you're gonna do day and night, you're gonna be working on marketing, and what we call is growth marketing and digital marketing. So the third phase should be the logistics and the operation. And this is where the optimizing, this is where maybe you can get an investor. Okay, I have a solid case study, I'm selling a lot, my margins are good, I'm getting, I would say, I don't know, 100 order per day, 1,000 order per day. I want to jump into make them a 2,000 per day. So I want to increase my marketing and I want to have control over my stock, my warehouse, my logistics, etc., etc. If depending on the industry. But from our understanding, we cut them into phases. And what we really don't like, and really what we always urge our clients to do, is don't go into shortcuts. Don't start any business where you're setting up the business, you're taking control over your marketing, you're creating your own platform, and you're going into logistics. That's 100% recipe for failure. In our perspective, focus on the business, then for a long period, at least 1 year, 2 years, focus on marketing, getting traffic. This is how the value of the business of your e-commerce platform will increase. If you're getting an investor, if you're getting, I don't know, you're exiting prematurely about it, why not? But don't go into logistics and warehousing. And in a real estate understanding, this might be an asset, having your warehouse, your logistics, your people. But from my understanding and my point of view, and from our observation, these are a liability, and they will make you slower, and they will let you move much slower than how you're supposed to do. And this will be our second tip, and for us, this is a killer. And the third one, which is never underestimate data. Never underestimate data. So what do I mean by this? Data for us, it starts from day one. And this is where whenever we're creating the user experience and the user journey, which are the result are what we call the wireframes. If you've seen it before, they are boxes and some design elements. If the work was very well done, and this is how it should be, we put from day one where we want to monetize the product, where we want to for people to go, where we want to sell them, what are the triggers, and all that, and how do we measure our ideas. So we need from day one to integrate with you. Few of them, very well known of them, there you have Flurry, you have MaxPanel, you have Google Analytics, Tag Manager. There's a zillion one. There's one called Segment. Each one of them, they do few things. Eventually, These tools, they will let you know what people are doing on your platform, how they're behaving. They will allow you to test your e-commerce. They will let you enhance it and make it better. Because going back to after you start operating, as I said, your main focus will be to get more users on the website, more traffic, definitely in the target audience that we want. So let's call them quality traffic. So if you want to go back to the basics of the sales, which are, we're going into a funnel. So let's say I have 100,000 people going to my website, where 10% will leave immediately. Another 30%, they're gonna go in for 1 minute. They're considering the website. Others are churning and churning and churning. Eventually, for me to do 100 sell. So this is how it works, and this is why e-commerce can go big, and this is why it creates a lot of buzz. Because from day one, you can get 100,000 people going into your website. So the challenge is what? And this is with the role of the marketing, and this is the marketeers, and this is the role of the client itself, which is at first will be, okay, if I'm getting 100,000 people on my website, which is not a big number, great. And I'm doing 100 sell per day. So for me, you might go two ways, either to get double the number, 200,000 customers, so you can get 200 sell, or you can keep the 100,000 people going in and you can increase it by 1%, which is you're doubling your numbers, etc., etc. So the conversion rate, and this is what we call the conversion rate, the conversion rate of the people going into my website and selling are very small numbers. That means this is the opportunity where if I enhance my platform, if I enhance my offering, if I put the right product in the right banner at the right time for the right audience, easily I can double my number and make them even much more than doubling them. So I cannot do that if I can't know what people are doing on my platform. If I have no idea where people are going, how they're behaving, who are they, if I cannot track them back. If, for example, Firas bought from me a red pen, and for me, I have a category for all the red products, and created a cohort, which is a grouping of people that they like red products. Whenever I have a new item, I don't know why I took this example, but let me continue with it. If I took, if I want to, every month I'm getting a new red item. So that's an opportunity for me to keep on selling Firas. Not for one, not for 2 times, 3 times, for maybe 2 years. If I don't have the access to who's Firas, how he behaved on my platform, what he did, what are the favorite things, when he's coming back, I cannot send him an emailer just for all my red products. And this is what we call an LTV, which is a lifetime value, which is everyone going into my platform is an opportunity for me to hook him, to sell him again and again and again and again. And eventually, this is what we, going back to the basics of the business and the commerce and real life. This is what we call loyalty programs. This is what we call real fans. This is what we call real customers for, let's say it was a restaurant. It's the same. These are the same basic rules. E-commerce didn't create anything else. It just changed the tools. It came the same mentality, but it added what we call the urgency. Working on e-commerce, it has an urgency like I assume like never before in the history of commerce. So the time element is very important. It's very important. And this is a very important tip that we give to our clients, which is you need to be fast, you need to act fast, you need to deliver in a very quickly, using a very quick medium. And when people talk to you, they expect a fast answer. Unless if we're talking in some niche industries that all that is not applicable. But again, I'm just giving a broad guidelines about everything. So if you, Rudy, I hope I answered again your question. And if you want me to dig deeper into one area, please let me know.
Yes, and we have some questions that we will be taking. We have Ihtisham from Bahrain, Ihtisham Rabbani. Ihtisham, do you mind opening your mic and asking question directly? I think she left. All right. I'll
Yes,
get
yes,
back to
yes,
her.
sure.
You are okay.
Yeah. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Yes, my name is Ahtisham. I posted
Do you
up.
mind asking the question directly? I know you asked two, three questions. Can you ask one just to join them all together?
Yeah, actually, I started e-commerce business in Bahrain recently, and I like to grow my business. So, is there any tips to grow this business? Because I did not take any training or anything from anyone.
Yeah,
So I was just
how are you selling now? You're selling directly through Facebook and Instagram through private
yeah
messaging?
from Facebook pages and Instagram, Facebook boost,
Okay.
this boost services.
Okay. Do you mind telling me what's the industry? What are the products that you're selling?
Yes, I started from footballs. I'm from Pakistan, so we make our own football, handmade. So I started from football, and then I imported some clothes from Pakistan to Bahrain. Most likely, like for women clothes. And then I did some drop shipping locally here.
Okay.
And then yeah, there are a lot of mixed products. Like mainly, I'm going for leather products, textile.
And do you know, have you studied why people are buying from you?
Did I study what?
Have you studied, or can you give me a clear answer why people are buying from your Facebook and Instagram page? Is it the price? Is it very competitive? What's the main reason?
It's the price and the quality, because no one is giving this quality in this price in Bahrain. Everything is very expensive if you want it in a good quality. So I am giving them the good quality in affordable price, because it's my own product. So I just ship it from Pakistan to Bahrain and then sell it on my own
All right.
prices.
And do you have a small operation? Do you have a lot of expenses, or just you and the pages?
No, just only pages and nothing else. I'm doing packing and delivery or everything by myself.
Okay, let me tell you one thing, that the first thing that you need to consider, which is, since people are buying due to the price, and you told me about the quality in that price. If you go into e-commerce, which is a platform where you will have to do a good branding, you need to have some professional photography, you need to know how to maintain it. That means more expensive. That means more expenses. So if your model, which is based on low cost, low maintenance, and it's working, keep on doing the same thing. Sometimes upgrading, it's not the smartest thing to do. So it depends about why people are coming to your store. If I want, I'm gonna give you an example. Um, let's say in Bahrain or Saudi Arabia or Beirut or anywhere in this region, we always see some small food snack, food places where they serve street food. And we can see that there's a lot of buzz around them. And people, they like this experience, regardless the price, but they like this experience. And a lot of time we see these places, they go into a bigger shop, a nicer shop, a much cleaner shop, a more branded shop, and we can see that they lose the hype, because either they have to increase their prices, or people, they like the experience as it is because it was genuine, etc., etc. So I cannot say if this is the case, yes or no. But if this is the case and people, they like this, they like your shop as it is, if it's working, so increase the budget there. Try to, as much as possible, if the price is a big important factor in your offering, try to maintain it. Upgrading isn't always the smartest thing to do. If it's working, keep on doing the same thing. Other than that, if you're insisting on going into a platform, if you don't have developers, I would say probably go to Shopify.com, which is an amazing platform, very easy to handle, very easy to use. You can set it up yourself. You can use some ready-made templates. You can choose your colors and upload your pictures, etc., etc. If you're going into an agency, I would say my advice would be to go into WooCommerce, which is very similar to Shopify, but it needs more people involved around it. And one last tip I would tell you that definitely if you have to invest into something, invest into the pictures and the photography. This is how you sell your product. This is how you show that the quality. This is how you show the angles, how they show you the true colors. So the more faithful, or not the more appealing your pictures are, the higher your conversion rates will be.
Thank you for that, and thank you for that. Let me ask you a question which is related on the topic, and I have a question also from YouTube, but I'll take it in a bit. Regarding why digital marketing is very important for growth, and how can people tap onto this? You mentioned a lot of things now to answer him, but can you also mention some other things to think about, some tips, some winning moves or something?
Can you define in which area so I can give you a more precise?
Digital marketing and growth.
Well, when it comes to growth marketing, it's just like a web, okay? And it's taking the fundamentals of sales techniques where people are driven by two forces, I would say emotions and rational thinking. So this is how all salesmen, whenever they go into, whether they were in retail stores or whether it's selling real estate or whether in whatever industry, if they got a proper training, they always tell them that know your audience, what they're thinking and feeling at that moment where you're doing your pitch. But we're dealing with the humans, and you can see their reactions. You can see their facial expressions. You can see that they are tired. They can see if you're selling a guy and you can see that his wife doesn't want him to buy the suit. Okay, a good salesman will know how to convince the woman because it shows that she's the main influencer in that area. Anyways, but how a marketeer or how a salesman can do that through a screen? There is no facial expressions, there is no reaction, there is no good interior to impress the client, there's nothing. There's one picture, there's posts, there's ads, there's all that. So eventually, what we work on is what we call conditioning. And conditioning is a very important philosophy that we adapt in growth marketing. And let me explain myself. So if I go, for example, and I pitch the idea of, if you want a clean water, buy from No. And someone clicked on this post and they went to the e-commerce platform. For me, that's enough indicator that they might be a good potential client. Because before they click, most probably this post was seen by around 1,000 people and one of them clicked. So at least I have a good chance with this person that clicked. So when they're going to go into my website, and if they went out of my website, let's say for less, or they went into my website for less than 20 seconds, I would say that this guy clicked on the app, on the post by mistake. So I can ditch him outside the funnel. But I can put my trigger, which, okay, anyone that spent more than 20 seconds of my website or 1 minute on my website, great, let me start tracking them. And this is where I can start conditioning my potential client. And what do I mean by it? If I want to take a few techniques, I can put a rule, anyone leaving the website, show him a pop-up message saying, okay, you're gonna get a 10% discount. But I cannot do that on a mobile app. I can only do it on a desktop. Then he left the website. If he was searching for Nova flavor mint, I can follow him with the ads of Nova flavor mint. If he was seeing the ad and he didn't do a reaction after 2 days, another automation is put into action, which is, I'm gonna tell him, okay, listen, buy a pack of 6 and you're gonna get a 10% discount. And then I run it. Some of them, they're gonna go and buy it. Some of them, they're gonna keep waiting. Others, they want more arguments, more ideas. Here, again, I might be selling a service, I might be selling a product, but I'm just giving an example of a product. Okay, I can continue?
Yes, yes.
All right. I can see myself on the big screen.
Great.
Okay, so if I want to, let's say we have lawyers in the room here, and they're selling tele lawyership. I'm not sure what the word is, and they want to convince the people. First time, they cannot tell them, okay, listen, my platform does this. You can go into most common Q&A. You can subscribe for $10 and you can per month, and you can get all these services, all the legal advices, all the documents that you need, etc., etc. They didn't buy it. I keep on running for 1 week, another week. I keep running another ads, another type of ads, another message when I keep on telling them, etc., etc. So what I'm trying to say is what we do in these automations, and this is the growth marketing, we try to replace this ideal salesman where depending on how much time the negotiation is taking, depending on the reaction of the people, how much interested they are, if he's coming back to the same shop for several times looking on the same item, most probably he just needs a bit of discount and he's gonna buy. We take the same principles, the same philosophies, and you put them into action through content that is pre-prepared, okay, that is ready beforehand, that we take as much as scenarios possible, and we run them, and we put automations and triggers, when to show, what to show, when to stop, and when to say, okay, enough, we spent a lot of money on this potential client, he's not gonna buy it, and when do we continue? And this really, it differs a lot from an industry to an industry. And this goes back to the business, which depends on how much time I need to spend on my client. Let me explain. And it depends on the net margin. So for example, if I want to say in H&M, you can see that the salesman doesn't give you a lot of time and a lot of attention because the profit margin per customer, per basket is very low. They cannot afford to give each potential client the attention that he needs or he expects. However, if I'm going to buy a Lamborghini, you can see that the salesman, he invites me to his office. I didn't buy a Lamborghini, I wish I did, but however, he invites me to his office, he offers me an espresso, he spends some his time, he will put his mobile on silence, he will give me all the attention, he might invite me to a dinner if I knew that I'm a potential client, etc., etc. They might spend a lot of time, a lot of effort for months and months because they know that when they sell me, it will, or the numbers will make sense how much effort they put into me. So this is how it works in a way or another. How much time I need to spend. Another tip it will be based on the product itself. If I'm buying, for example, a car, a decision to buy a car might take up to 2 years, 3 years, from the moment that I decide I need to buy a new car to the moment that I actually buy the new car. So here the brands, if I went to the BMW website or another website, they might afford keep on tracking me for 1 year or 2 years. It makes sense. However, for Samsung, if they want to sell me a mobile, it doesn't make sense. Because from the moment that I decide I need to buy a new mobile, it takes me less time to do the action. It might take me up to 6 months, maybe 9 months, but not more than that. If I decided to change my mobile, I will not wait 3 years to change it. And this is where a lot of triggers, they change. A lot of timings, they change based on how. Okay. I'm back.
Hey, sorry, I muted you by mistake. Somebody opened the mic. Okay.
And eventually, what I'm trying to say, it depends on how much it's worth investing on a customer client, how much impulsive my product is, how much the impulsive decision towards my product, what's the reaction? Is it something that is rationally thinking? Is it emotional? Is it et cetera, et cetera? And we all know that it's a part of it is rational, part of it is emotional.
Okay.
However, let me explore a bit on this point. This is an example that I always tell my team, I always tell my client, and honestly, I love this example because it says a lot. Rudy, I know that you're an iPhone user, right?
No, I changed recently. So I changed recently.
Okay, that's good news at least. Okay. For iPhone users, or I know that you've been an iPhone user for a long time.
Yeah, for a while, yeah.
For a while. Usually, if today Apple announced that they're gonna have new iPhone 17, and you've seen it, and it created a desire to you, you've decided to buy it on the same day that it was launched. The idea is when you're gonna buy it. It's not when you've decided to buy it. So, and I'm gonna give you an example that I'm sure you're gonna relate to. Very few, they go to an iPhone place or an Apple store, and they look at the iPhone and they compare, should I buy an iPhone or should I buy a Samsung? They don't do that. They already decided that they're gonna buy an iPhone. They go to Apple store to decide on which color and to make sure and to validate their choices. So why I'm giving this example to say that this is an emotional decision that was done before I even have a relationship with Apple Store, the place, right?
Yes.
When it comes to e-commerce, I have these champions. I have these products. They are the champions. If my store was hosting them, so I need to know where to put them. That's one. Two, I need to understand that some of the things that I'm gonna sell are emotionally driven, just like people when they buy an iPhone, and some of them are rationally driven, which I need to give them the specs. I need to explain the difference. They need to compare. They need to put one phone against the other phone. They can put them, they're gonna rotate them, they're gonna put them on the wish list, they're gonna go back, they're gonna go in, they're gonna discuss it with someone, etc., etc. So again, if my platform doesn't handle all these data and I'm blind, I can't see the behavior, my only chance to succeed is to have only Apple product on my website, whatever I'm selling, or Apple things very relevant to this position. And this is a unicorn that doesn't exist. So this is why I need to go back and understand which products are people comparing. Putting the technical specs is very important. Sending them a newsletter after or an emailer after they've seen this product that you put on your wish list 1 month ago. Now it's your birthday. I need to know your birthday. Come and pick it up. It's ready for you because we love you. We're gonna give you 15%, etc., etc. Because this is how in real life we act. This is how we could say.
You're actually building a relationship here.
Exactly.
Okay, great. So just to summarize this last part, it focuses more on the data itself. How much can you actually get data, go in the data, collect, of course, the much needed data, and knowing and actually letting the data talk in a way. So if you're not today getting the data, you're not really towards success, because you're gonna be losing a lot of things on the way. that customization, that special centricity of the customers, that feelings of the customers. Like you just said now, for you gave me an idea about a birthday. Okay, so I don't actually collect birthdays. And I never thought of that, but now I think I should be collecting, because I need to automate this in the background, because I do collect data for just notifying users what's latest, what's greatest, but I never wanted to customize it. But for this such an example, I need data. If I don't have the data, I cannot build that long-term relationship. I'm not selling anything here. I'm just having a relationship and bringing value towards the participants. So you need such a thing. And this is where, all of what you said falls in. And
Yeah, listen, Rudy, from definitely I agree with everything that you've said, and we're aligned on it. But I want to just put something out there, which is collecting the data. It's not the challenge, because there's already made tools that they do that. Okay, so it might be a challenge for a bank, it might be a challenge for an ERP, it might be a challenge for I don't know what kind of big data companies for different industries. But for our industry, this is not the challenge. You have the tools. You need the right people to tell you where to integrate on which events, which means which buttons, where I want to know, what I want to know. And these tools will get you the data. The real challenge is on two ways. One, reading the data, reading and analysis the data. Three, what I'm gonna do with this data. So what I'm gonna do with this data, it goes back to marketing. And this is what marketing is about. There's a need, there's a behavior, there's a certain, I wouldn't say habits that's happening in my store, okay? What should I be doing with it? And this is where the creativity is, and this is where the commerce thinking is. This is where I need to know how to monetize it. So that's the real challenge. It's not about getting the data. It's there.
Yes. It's how to use it, how to drive it. Yes.
How to drive it, and what kind of content, and what are the things that will trigger my audience to do the reaction that I need, etc.
And you opened a nice not question, that big companies sometimes suffer from, I'm not going to say data, but they suffer from compliance, they suffer from complexity, they suffer from internal processes. And this is where, not to go into the big companies, this is where I have a question which we'll take in a few minutes with Eli. I think the competitive edge of a smaller, more agile companies, even bigger ones, but well formatted, and they have a better way of understanding and better system possibly, they can maneuver faster. Because I've been in the corporate world for the last 19 years, and I've seen how they work in the corporate world. When I left the corporate world, it was, oh my God, there's a lot of things where, that now the doors are all open. Everything is acceptable. Everything is, before mentioning the cloud was not allowed. Now, I don't want to go into, we used to invest $5 and $6 and $7 million into data centers, where now I don't need to do all of this investment. All I have to do is go and rent out a cloud from wherever it is, because I don't have those complications. I don't want to, go and do customization for something very specific. Yes, indeed. I'm gonna take the question from
the bad boys on the block.
This is the disruption. Actually, I think one of the success of FEER McQUEEN is playing traditional, because there's many agencies out there. And I think many of them are also being challenged today, because they want to take the business from A to Z and develop it customized. This is one of the things that they do. And I remember discussing this with you. And whereas you come and say, I don't want to develop anything for you. Let's go and adopt whatever is there and do the minute customization for you to get on board and act quickly. You know, when other agencies know, we want to sell you software, we want to sell you coding, we want to sell you this, we want to sell you that, hardware and special tools, and okay, you know, this is a very big disruption, you know, in the way of working.
Listen, this big disruption, you might need it along the way, okay, but I don't think anyone will know what they will need before they hit the market. And this is one of the main differences between e-commerce and the traditional world, which you can test your business before going online. You should test your business before going online. So this is why we do this discovery phase, and we do the testing on the user acceptance, on the user interface, and all that, how they're behaving. We do this test, and after this test, when we go online, we even test it. We keep on testing, and this is why we optimize. We have the privilege to optimize. The king of optimizing the user experience are Facebook. We all have Facebook on our phone. Every week we can see they add a button, they move something, they add something, they a new feature, they kill a feature, or Google. They created a zillion of apps and they killed most of them. For them, they're not afraid about this, even though they're big corporates, but they don't follow this corporation mentality, which everything should be 100% sealed and 100% tested and. For them, let's hit the market and see if the people will like it. So the readiness for e-commerce for us, it's not on the platform itself, it's not on the technology itself. It's very important, yes, but eventually the work has been done by giants. It's on the mentality. This is the readiness that you need. It's the mentality, which is to hit the audience, the market very quickly, to be flexible, to adapt, to the urgency of time, to have a very, very deep knowledge about how people are behaving on the digital. Digital marketing is not social media. It's for me, it's demotivating that I'm still till 2021 saying that digital marketing is not social media. Definitely it's not social media. Social media is a platform that I put on it whatever I need. I put on it content marketing, I put on it advertising, I put on it branding, put on it PR, which is the influencer marketing. All the traditional marketing disciplines are all the same. Nothing had changed. What changed is instead of putting them on the newspaper or putting them on TV, I'm putting them on a social media. And this is what social media is about. So this readiness that is needed and this readiness about that is expected. And here I need to tackle one thing. One of the main key elements, which is it's needed from phase one, which is the customer service. The customer service on e-commerce platform, it's king. And one of the things that I always talk about, which is WhatsApp. WhatsApp, it's a great tool for customer service. I don't need to have this big customer service center for or a special tool to deliver a great customer service experience. This might be annoy a lot of people, but being a marketeer, I need to follow where the people are. And today, people are on WhatsApp. If the people are on WhatsApp, if the people have an acceptance for a WhatsApp, if people, they like to use WhatsApp for business, and this was a kind of, not taboo, it was a kind of red line for businesses a few years back, because we shouldn't do business over WhatsApp. But today, where all businesses, or CEOs, or executives, all team members, whenever they're working in a company, they all communicate through WhatsApp. It's done. It's there. People, they like to talk to the agent through WhatsApp. So if they like to do that, let's hit WhatsApp, as simple as it is. So, but eventually, customer service is a very important factor in e-commerce. It's the king for two reasons. The one, people, they expect an answer very quickly. And this is for me an opportunity that I might lose. Two, my customer experience service agent is my salesman. and he's my only human intervention that I have, or human connection that I have with this person, and that's it. So for me, a customer service agent, or how we like to call it, a customer success agent, is a fundamental player in all the e-commerce realm. And training them, working on them, motivating them, having shifts, working over weekend, and all that. That's for us a fundamental thing, and for us it's the easiest tool. You don't need a license. You can hit it very quickly, answer your customer very quickly, be friendly, except if your positioning doesn't allow you to be friendly. But don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to talk to people, because if you don't talk to them on WhatsApp or talk.io or whatever is the other tool, or Instagram Messenger, depending on where people are going, I need to follow them.
Thank you, Firas. I just want to say thank you to our audience. Really, you are great. There's a lot of questions. We're going to go now into the Q&A more, focus on the Q&A. Firas, due to the time, I want you to answer them because they are very interested, very interesting questions. But I want you to be a little bit brief on the, and if anything is nobody, I don't want to keep everyone on. If anybody wants to stay, I will move you to a breakout room for more of focused, possibly focused discussion, and we'll fine tune it there. So I want you to answer. If you're not, I'm not gonna say you're not satisfied, but because I'm sure Firas will satisfy your question. But if you want more information, how to do more things, please hang on, and then we can go to a breakout room after this. The first question I want to take, Eli. Eli, please go unmute yourself and ask the question. We have 3 questions, one from Eli, one from Talar, and from our YouTube, we have 2, Hiba and from Trogir, I don't know actually who is, Hiba Hamadi. We'll start with Eli and then we'll move on.
Hello, guys.
Eli, I want you also to be brief because you asked 2-3 questions. If you want, you can stay later on and then we'll...
Yes, all right. Actually, I'm an entrepreneur, and recently we've launched a delivery and logistics startup, and we've been drawn in the sea of operation. We don't have that digital footprint. So I just wanted to ask a brief question that we don't sell goods, we sell service. How can we make this possible?
You mentioned also you're growing and you want to move to UAE, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, to Qatar and to Bahrain, eventually in 2021. Yes. Our clients say that our service is 5 stars. We are almost the best. We are client oriented, but we want to take it to a next level. We want to sell ourselves. That's it. We don't sell goods. We don't sell a tangible product. It's a service for our online customers. We have more than 100 customers with thousands of orders. We've executed thousands of orders in this 6 months. So now it's a break to take the right decision and think of the next level. So I just wanted an advice, a precise advice.
All right, but Elia, unfortunately, I didn't get the question. So you're asking me what is the next step, or the next step is you need to get more customers, and you're telling me how to do this.
Actually, we don't want more customers to have more customers. I want to maintain our level of service. I want to take the startup to next level. I don't know how with digital transformation, the online. I really don't know. I'm an operation man.
So you're drowned with operations, but now you want to keep the customer service and customer satisfaction high.
Exactly. This is the point.
All right. I'm not finding a short answer, so
Do you mind, Eli, staying till the end, and then we'll get back to that? We'll go in a breakout room, and then we'll.
I might take another hour just for this question.
Eli, do you mind staying?
Actually, I have a call at 7 o'clock Beirut time, so unfortunately, I cannot stay.
Right.
I just we can find a way to discuss this.
It's much,
or maybe
much better to do that.
All right. Eli, please send me your contact private, and then we'll fine tune this with.
I will.
With the team.
Also, yes.
All right. I'm gonna take the other one. Talar, please ask your question.
Hello, hi. Can you hear me?
We can hear you clearly.
Yeah. Okay. So I was asking that. Let's say you have an e-com platform and you've already been using it. You're already selling. You already see that the sales are good. When do you know, or what is an indicator for you to shift onto having your own program and your own coded e-com platform?
All right, Talar, unfortunately,
because of course you know that Shopify has limitations, in that sense.
All right. Depending on which limitation you're talking about, but I will always defend not having your own code. Never, ever. Whatever is however the business is growing and all that. If you're not satisfied with Shopify, definitely you can shop around for others. There's Magento, you have WooCommerce, you can try BigCommerce, you can do competitive tables, you can even they can do you some demos. You can see a lot of agencies that they are the middleman. You can see which platform is better. But however the complicated your operation is, unless if you have a disruptive service that you're selling, or something that's very new that you don't need or these ready-made platform they don't cater to. So that depends. You need to tell me the idea so I can tell you which one. But other than that, for me, always go for ready-made platforms. Always go for ready-made platforms. Again, as I said, I'm not sure if you were from the beginning. For me, we've seen a lot of clients. They spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. They spend years in development and they reach nowhere. And most probably they will reach nowhere. And it's like you want to write a text and you create your own program instead of using Word. Why do you need to do that? If the technology is not your business, why do you need to create your own code and your own program? Did I answer your question, Talar?
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to take a question from Facebook now. Sorry, from YouTube. The question is from Hiba Ahmedi. How could we comfort the customers to switch to e-commerce, knowing that many people would feel safer to continue the traditional way? It has a lot of culture and different things related. Firas, if you can give some tips, how do you onboard and how do you help your customers?
Listen, fighting a losing battle for me, it's a wasted energy. In that sense that whoever doesn't like e-commerce, don't try to convince them. Definitely the traditional business will go nowhere. E-commerce will grow. E-commerce definitely will grow much bigger than what it is today, but it will never replace the retail and the offline world. It will never replace it. So for me, there's no need to, you're gonna always have people that like e-commerce and they buy online and they shop online and they like these digital products, and you're gonna always have people that they want to shop to have a different experience. And there's no need to convince people. What you need to work on in your marketing is for people that already adopted e-commerce, they already have the readiness, they already have the acceptance. Work on them and don't try to convert the others.
I just want to read out something. This is last year, actually beginning of last year. But I think now the numbers will shift due to the COVID and all of these confinements and how things have changed in 2020. It says that e-commerce worldwide is $3.5 trillion in revenue, and are projected to be by 2022, which is just another 2.5 or 3 years from that report, to 6.5, which is double. But I think now with with COVID and all of this changing all of the behaviors, digital transformation has been compacted. 2-3 years have been compacted in few months. Things are taking another toll. There's a big market of change, and there's market size is definitely changing. But as Firas said, if the customer will not on board, he will be kind of in his own ways doing his own things, but the majority will be going through these onboarding to new technologies. Let me see if there's any other questions. Hiba, I hope if we answered you.
One thing, and I know that I'll be shooting myself in the leg.
I hope we don't have somebody here on the software development where they are selling, customized, because they will be shooting themselves. There was, but
they will be shooting me. But I can tell you one thing: except from subscriptions and Netflix and online services, myself, I've never bought something online, and I know that I'll be shooting myself in the leg saying that. But you have a lot of people that they have. They're avant-garde in their business fields. They are on top of the digital industries, but simply they don't buy online. So this is a proof that a lot of people will convert, but a lot of people they don't convert. And this comes to the experience, what kind of experience you want, etc., etc.
Okay, I'm just trying to see if there's any questions. Meanwhile, I have posted the feedback survey. Please, we would really love to listen and to hear your feedback. The more you give us feedback, or the more you rate us, and then tell us where we have done great or where we have not done great, it would be much appreciated, because we will always learn, and you are our priority. And I just want to see if there's any other questions. Anybody has a question, please raise your hand and go directly. If anybody wants to connect with Firas more on this platform, also raise your hand. I've shared the contacts, and I will share them again, of FEER McQUEEN and the company. Okay, Talar. Sorry, I'm just posting here. So I'm gonna start concluding. Firas, if you have any last words about final, let's call them tips or recommendations. So
yeah, I have one quick thing for Talar, if she's still with us. Talar, if you're facing difficulties with Shopify, it might be that you need to integrate more stuff in Shopify and more tools. It doesn't have to change the platform. Just consider that. If you're facing difficulties with getting the data, tracking, the marketing modules, you always have super tools that you can integrate it with Shopify.
Substituted tools, Google and other ones, if I'm not mistaken.
They're not they are an add-on, and they're very important. So that depends on the case. I can't tell.
We have a nice comment from Muhammad Fhaili. I totally get you, because I think the new generation are more connected. He says, I don't shop online, nor I do order food, but my children, they do everything online. E-commerce and evolutionary process.
I relate with you.
Yes, I think this is a very applicable scenario. I think the millennials are born with technology today, so everything for them, they must be sharp, quick, and looking good. So with that, I will start concluding. I want to thank all the participants today, and for you who stayed, much appreciated. Muhammad Rushdi, thank you for staying, and the guys, Maurice, David, Rodney, Patrick, Asil, and the rest of the guys. And thank you all who participated from the world. I know, every week we are discovering different people from around the world. Thank you for that. Hopefully this program is growing. Thank you, Muhammad, again. And with that, I will start concluding. And Rudy, also from Dubai, he's always there. Thank you a lot. He's named like me, so there's two Rudys here. So I want to thank you all. I want to thank Firas for your valuable input. I think people, they got a lot of answers. I think this is one of the, I'm not going to say the best session that I had, but the most, satisfying session, because people, I think, were interactive. They were asking from, a problem and a challenge they faced, and somehow we were able to give answers. If we did not answer you, please communicate to us. We would really appreciate getting back to as much as you can. Please join our WhatsApp group, and don't forget to rate us. The more you rate us, the more we understand better. So thank you again. And I'm just posted here the group. Smash that like button on the group, and we'll see you there. And we'll see you soon, hopefully next week. With that, thank you all. Thank you, Firas. We will conclude now.
Thank you, Rudy. Thank you for having us. Thank you, guys.